From Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, we have got an in-state rivalry renewed. The Nevada Wolfpack beginning a 3-game road trip, heading out to Thomas and Mack, where they take on a 12-9 riding high UNLV Rebel squad after a big victory over Colorado State. We're glad to have you along. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. Slight change for Nevada, more of the same for UNLV, but Daniel Foster is in there, and that's because they're missing not one but two of their big dogs, Warren Washington, and more importantly, Grant Sherfield, Casey, who is not going to be available tonight.
Yeah, he's out with a foot injury. Sherfield is one of the top point guards in the conference. He leads them in scoring and assists. Daniel Foster and Keenan Blackshear will share point guard duties in his absence. And then on the left, that's Warren Washington. He dislocated 2 fingers on his shooting hand, and he's the defensive anchor for this team that's really struggled on that end of the floor. Starting center Will Bakers, he needs to have a big night to fill that void.
You heard him. That's Casey Jacobson. I am Noah Eagle, and we are glad to have you along for the ride tonight as UNLV coming off the 88-74 victory at Colorado State on Friday, now at 12-9. And Nevada, they desperately need a win now, losing their last 2 to drop back to 500 on the season at 9-9. Should be an interesting matchup between these two teams that seem like they're heading in somewhat opposite directions at the moment.
Yeah, and you take a look at this guy right here. Bryce Hamilton is coming off one of the best games of the season in any conference, anywhere in the country. Look at that, 42 points on an efficient 21 shots. He also got to the foul line 14 times, and he is priority #1 for Nevada on their defensive scouting report. But do not forget Des Cambridge in this game. He is #4 in the navy blue jersey, the top of your screen. He can also fill it up.
It's Ham who tips it back for UNLV, and the Rebels have it to start us out. Our officials tonight, Randy McCall, Eric Curry, and Gregory Nixon. So the Rebels will start it out after putting up 88 points on a very good Colorado State team. McCabe drives, kicks, 3-ball open for Krueger. And a good defensive start. This is something that Steve Alford has been very clear about with his team. He wants energy for a full 40 minutes. That has been something he's felt has lacked. He's liked what they've done in the first 20 minutes of the game. It's really the second half that needs to continue.
Yeah, his frustration with this team's recent performances almost reached a boiling point, Noah. And he knows what this team is capable of. They were picked #3 in the preseason poll for a reason. The talent is evident. They just haven't been able to push the right buttons. And take a look at one of the youngest coaches in the country,
Kevin Krueger, first season as the head man at UNLV, 12-9 to start this year, and said that Colorado State game, he felt like the first half of that game was their best half of the season. It's hard to argue. Obviously, you've got Hamilton going off for the 42 points, but a well-balanced attack, and defensively they came out and set the tone early as well.
I thought they did a really nice job bottling up a really talented Colorado State team. Isaiah Stevens did have more than 30 points, but they did a really nice job on David Roddy. That was one of his worst games. He was 4 of 10 from the field. So an all-around game on both sides for the running Rebs. They're going to try and keep it going.
The question coming in for Nevada, who's going to pick up the scoring without Sherfield? First 2 points come from Keenan Blackshear. There's that lefty delivery, and Hamilton comes up short. Nice hustle, but out of bounds. Ham couldn't quite track it down in time.
If you haven't seen UNLV play, get used to #14 flying around the court. You'll think that there are 2 or 3 of them. He's an excellent rebounder. How about he hopping over the front row there?
I was going to say, if you're sitting front row, you just see your life flash before your eyes. When you see a player at 6'9", 225, full speed coming right at you, can't be a good feeling.
Hide your popcorn in your beer.
Shimmy shake, dribble drive, nice feed inside, and the floater just falls off the rim for Cambridge. But Foster, who's going to be tasked with some of those point guard responsibilities, the 6'6" sophomore from Australia, who Steve Alford just loves what he does in terms of his intensity, his energy, his enthusiasm on the court.
When he mentioned the country of Australia, he grinned. He's like, I love these guys. They're stubborn in all the best ways, and they love basketball. Daniel Foster is a worker.
McCabe's going to have to force one into the shot clock, and he does. The deep scoop shot. How about that from Jordan McCabe?
That wasn't in my scouting report for Jordan McCabe. The old slippery eel with the underhand scoop.
But was his TikTok game in your scouting report? Nearly 200,000 followers.
No, definitely not. I don't have TikTok, but my 15-year-old daughter at home, Elizabeth, is very excited about that number.
And McCabe is excited just to get this game tied as Hamilton grabs the rebound and will look to score it himself. Averaging 20.8 points per game on the season.
I love that Des Cambridge, number 4, is taking this matchup personally, right? These are the 2 leading scorers on the floor right now. And Cambridge is an awesome defensive player. He's going to be tested for 40 minutes tonight.
Krueger tripped up on his way to the basket, and McCabe tying this game up early in this first half.
Jordan McCabe, transfer from West Virginia, nice pump fake. And when you get a, that should not have counted.
Wow. It did look awfully close live, but just a little bit late for McCabe, the transfer from West Virginia, who has been a great floor general for Kevin Krueger this year, and he said he's just gotten more and more comfortable. Hamilton blocked inside. Nice job by Blackshear to get him from behind.
Well, I was talking up Des Cambridge's defense, and I should have started with Keenan Blackshear. He is the best defensive player on the perimeter for this Wolfpack team, and he's a guy that can guard 1 through 4.
Krueger had 5 points in the win at Colorado State. McCabe's going to have to make it happen again. Here's Hamilton. And look, you go 7 of 13 from 3 just a couple days ago. I'm sure you want to get him up again and see if you can find that spark for a second consecutive game. Nice finish. Will Baker just facilitates himself to the spot, and the perfect delivery for 2 more.
It's nice for, obviously Steve Alford doesn't want to have Warren Washington out tonight, but it's really nice that he has another 7-footer, right? This is a team that has 2 of them, and they both start, they both average double figures. Warren Washington out tonight, but Will Baker's, he's looking for a big night.
Alford is 31st year as a collegiate head coach. 1987 NCAA champion at Indiana. Legendary playing career. Hamilton, tough move, offensive foul. Blackshear stepping in and making plays.
Watch 3 different Wolfpack defenders. It was Des Cambridge, then it was Will Baker, and then it's Keenan Blackshear. When Bryce Hamilton has the basketball tonight, Noah, you know how many eyes are going to be on him?
All the eyes?
All the eyes. Not only the fans in the arena, but all 5 defenders are going to be staring him down. He might have to make an extra pass to loosen up this defense.
I can promise all 4 of my eyes will be on him. Baker backing down, and he can't squeeze that one through. I like this matchup, by the way. Baker versus Ham, former teammates at Texas. Krueger, Hamilton on the attack. Back to Ham. Aggressive to the paint, and he's fouled on the way up. Coleman trying to keep his ground as Ham went to his left.
Not sure there was a ton of contact here. He goes up straight. I don't think so. I think they missed that one, but credit Roy Sam Jr. for putting that pressure on the officials. And you mentioned the Texas guys. We have 3 former Texas Longhorns in this game. And one of them, Donovan Williams, who I don't believe has made his appearance yet. Off the bench for UNLV, where's number 3? We got Royce Ham, Donovan Williams, and Will Baker all played for Shaka Smart. There's Donovan Williams right there.
So we have now seen all 3 Texas transfers. Williams making his return after dealing with an knee issue. Alam Husinovic, who's in the game for Nevada. And now one extra change. David Mwaka is going to come in after a solid performance, 11 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 5 of 6 from the floor in that victory at Colorado State.
Yeah, Milwaukee is not known as an offensive guy. He's mostly in there to play defense and rebound. Anything they get from him in the scoring column is a huge bonus.
Cambridge, that's what he does. He takes a lot of tough shots. And the nice hustle. Oh, wow. Just grab it on the floor, maybe put it towards the basket, but Blackshear was on the baseline and turns it right back to UNLV. Back and forth we go, early going in this first half. Nevada and UNLV, a rivalry matchup at Thomas and Mack. The game within the game. Royce Ham, Donovan Williams, still teammates at UNLV, but go back just 2 years. They were suiting up right next to Will Baker for the Texas Longhorns. This 2019-2020 squad had a ton of talent, Casey.
It did. Andrew Jones, Matt Coleman, Jericho Sims is in this photo. This Texas team went 19-12 that season. Of course, it was the COVID year. There was no NCAA tournament. And interestingly, Shaka Smart did not win a tournament game. Could this have been, if there was a tournament, could this team have won a game? You never know, and he might still be there instead of at Marquette.
Two NBA guys on that squad, Sims and Kai Jones. Matt Coleman was averaging 13 points, 3.5 assists. Andrew Jones, 11.5. A lot of talent without a doubt. Speaking of, another tough delivery from Blackshear. And the easy rebound back the other way as UNLV is in business with Donovan Williams.
Really nice start defensively by both teams, but certainly UNLV, you know, coming off that Colorado State game where they also bottled up the Rams early on in that one and took a lead. They've done the same thing here. They're making everything difficult for Nevada.
It was funny in that game, Hamilton didn't necessarily get off to a super quick start. Took him a couple minutes, but once he found that rhythm, he never let it go.
It was Royce Ham Jr. who kind of got the offense rolling for the Running Rebs in that one.
Beeline to the bucket, and Foster couldn't finish it.
Got to go stronger than that. Daniel Foster, he's a sophomore. He's got good height, but he doesn't have a lot of weight on him, and he tried to avoid contact.
Williams back outside. Webster. Find the go-to guy. Hamilton wants to go one-on-one. Swing it. Pump fake. Step back. Williams trains it.
You see how effortless it is for Donovan Williams to shoot? 14 points a game. You know, it's interesting that both Williams and Bryce Hamilton are in the top 8 in scoring in just Mountain West Conference games. Donovan Williams averages 17 a game when he plays in the Mountain West. That's tough. When you have two guys on the scouting report like that, it is difficult to take them both away.
Now's going to be on the floor. Donovan Williams, you've got to know where he is on the outside. He shoots 44% from 3.
Beautiful shot fake. You know the key to a good shot fake is it's got to look like a real shot. So many times you work on a shot fake in practice and it looks nothing like your normal shot. You throw the ball way over your head, for example, and no one buys it. But that time it was just a quick one and creating space.
Freshman Keyshawn Gilbert on the floor. And another turnover for Nevada. They're starting to pile up here and see if UNLV can take advantage. Can Hamilton get involved? Does he need to get involved?
I would say yes. If they're going to win this game against Nevada, Bryce Hamilton, I mean, he doesn't have to score 42, but yes, he's got to be the anchor for the offense.
Gilbert on the kick. Williams again. Wide open 3 ball. Webster comes up a little bit too strong and then knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Nevada. So 2 to work with here for the Rebels. Gilbert, by the way, on the floor. Kevin Krueger was talking about him. Just said he is the ultimate competitor and a bundle of energy, almost to an extreme degree at times as a freshman.
You'd rather have that. Wow, that was a pass to nowhere. This is Cambridge going to be a double.
Or is it? Cambridge comes up short. UNLV with numbers. Hamilton on the cross. Follow comes up short and a foul. What is going on with these rims?
That's going to be a technical foul for hanging on the rim is what they're going to call here. What a bizarre sequence. Did I just broadcaster jinx a guy on a breakaway dunk? That's the first time I've ever done that. So my apologies to Des Cambridge. I counted my eggs before they hatched.
Took off maybe just a step too far. And then here on the other end, Hamilton off the miss.
See that left arm? I mean, they called a technical foul on that. I don't see how it's a technical. I understand it's offensive goaltending.
Sure.
But if he doesn't grab the rim, does he fall on his face? And that's why I don't agree that it should be a technical foul. It should just be offensive goaltending and go the other way.
Well, Desmond Cambridge was thrilled that it was a technical foul. Adds to his tally and brings this back to a 2-point game. It's been a defensive battle so far. A number of turnovers on either side. And Nevada trying to avoid their first 3-game losing streak in conference play since February of 2015. Another look here as Krueger tried to just stuff it back in, and You're probably right, Casey, that if he doesn't hold it with the left hand, he's going to fall directly onto his face area.
Or his tailbone. I mean, but he didn't hang on the rim for an extraordinarily long period of time, right? If he was just up there swinging around, okay. That was just a weird call. But going back to Nevada and the frustration that Steve Alford has on this group, it's the defensive end that they have got to clean up. This team really hasn't had a ton of issues putting the ball in the basket, but they're allowing Mountain West opponents to score 75 points. And guarding the three-point line has been the biggest challenge. Teams are shooting 37% from deep, and this is a UNLV team that can really get it going from there.
Blackshear, a tough shot. And with an easy board, and give it right to Donovan Williams, who's come in like a springboard with a little pep in his step. Nice find. There it is. Bryce Hamilton is pure with a 4-point play.
It's a two-man game that you work on every day in practice, right? You dribble, drive a gap, and if the help side comes, watch the help side from Des Cambridge. He comes in and swipes it, turns his back, and that's easy pitch and catch. That's a bad mistake there from Cambridge. He should know better because he's also a shooter. He's also a scorer.
Hamilton, the Mountain West Player of the Week for the 3rd time in his career, converts that 4-point play. The USBWA Oscar Robertson Award as well, Player of the Week nationally. He'll finally take a seat for the first time. He's the first running Rebel to win that award since Christian Wood back in 2014. And the offensive struggles and the shooting struggles continue. And how about the turnover struggles? There's the freshman Gilbert with the steal. McCabe open for 3. Offensive rebound, Ham. Second chance for UNLV. Williams. Euro and kick. 12 to shoot. Ham. Ball fake. Lost it. Out of bounds. Stays with UNLV with 7 to shoot.
Royce Ham Jr. can step out and shoot. 6'9". We already talked about his rebounding. He's 41% from deep, so you do have to honor it. That's why that closeout was so hard from Nevada. You have to honor that. But putting the ball on the ground is not Royce Ham Jr.'s strong suit.
Gilbert in for Ham. Williams, 3 to shoot. He's going to force it from the logo. Looked online. Looked on the money. You could hear it from everybody at Thomas and Mack Center, that last gasp when it just didn't fall.
Those are just fans being fans, Noah. They think every shot's going to go in.
That's right. That's what's great about fandom.
That was a bad offensive possession that was going nowhere. And only if Steph Curry was shooting that would I have been excited.
Blackshear, shovel pass and a foul. It's a great feed as KJ Himes got free inside, and Ham can't believe it.
And normally, if you react like this, that means that you really feel and know you got all ball, and that looked like a foul, straight up. So Keenan Blackshear is going to take over some, not all, but some of the point guard duties, him and Daniel Foster. And Keenan Blackshear is a handful to keep in front. He's a guy that seeks contact when he goes to the rim. That time there was a nice drop-off pass.
Interesting to see how Nevada tries to navigate themselves to the free throw line. Nevada has really struggled shooting the basketball of late, shooting 30% or worse from three-point range in 6 of the last 8 games. And we talked to Steve Alford at length about shooting droughts and navigating yourself out of shooting droughts. One way to do it is to get to the free throw line and try to see the ball go through the basket as Himes splits a pair.
Yeah, the way to do it in practice is to just spend some time in the gym with you, a ball, and a basket. But in a game, yes, the best way to do it is get layups, dunks, or get to the foul line. See the ball go through the rim is therapeutic for a struggling mind.
Speaking of, Jordan McCabe, book it.
He did not have a good shooting night, did McCabe, against Colorado State, but was really good distributing. And here's a 3-on-0 break.
Showtime the other end. Donovan Williams, the springboard slam. Timeout Nevada.
bragging rights for the state of Nevada are on the line, and so far the Runnin' Rebs are taking advantage of home court and turnovers leading to dunks.
Kevin Krueger in his first year as the head man at UNLV. Let's go back to 06-07, son of the legend, Lon Krueger. And Kevin started his collegiate career at Arizona State before transferring to UNLV, and then Casey had a long career overseas: Bulgaria, Italy, China, Mexico, Belgium, Germany, not to mention the G League, before becoming an assistant coach at the collegiate level and now getting his chance as a head man. But as somebody yourself who played several years overseas, how do you think that experience has impacted his coaching style and how he decides to navigate through that?
Well, first of all, I think it just furthered his love for the game. It's fun to go outside of the country of America and go see how other people do it, but how often have you watched the NBA and thought, oh, like that's how European basketball players are? Some of the action that you'll see tonight that has come directly from Europe is dribble handoffs. I mean, that was a thing in Europe many, many years before it ever made its way over here, right? Remember Vlade Divac?
Oh, yeah.
That's how they play in Europe and in Croatia and Serbia.
And right now, Nevada just still in that shooting slump. 1 for 11 to start this game, including 0 for 3 from downtown.
Not a great start for Steve Alford, the way he envisioned this team would be playing with a lot more fire. And even breakaway dunks have been a chore for that team so far.
Nothing's a chore for that man. Bryce Hamilton with his second bucket gives him 6.
And I know it's easy for me to say, but he is left-handed. You cannot let him get to that strong hand off the bounce. Try and cut him off. Make him spin. Make him show you a counter move.
Coach Alford going to make some changes, try to find some of that energy, some of that offense, as Hamilton has found a little bit of his rhythm.
And that was a beautiful inside-out dribble. After seeing it on the replay, he actually froze KJ Himes, the big who was stepping up. He froze him with that inside-out dribble and got the step.
I thought you asked Kevin Krueger a great question about Hamilton, who tested the waters in the NBA draft after last season. And foul's going to be called inside as Baker was trying to muscle his way through and Webster caught him from behind. But you basically put it in the perfect sense that a lot of times when you go through that process, it's a lot about yourself, and you're thinking about how can I improve? How can I get better personally with my singular skills? Then he comes back to school, and he's got to now reintegrate all of that with the team. And Krueger even said that early in the season he was trying to do a little bit too much, and now he's just letting the game come to him.
Yeah, this is a new roster, right? As Trey Coleman gets an offensive rebound and a putback. Just the second made field goal for Nevada so far. Yeah, I mean, look, I have some personal experience. After my third year at Stanford, I tested the waters, ended up leaving to go into the draft. But my junior year, I felt a lot of pressure. I wanted to impress scouts, right? And that's a lot of what Bryce Hamilton is going through. He went through that process. He's now back in college, but he wants to make sure that, you know, he gets drafted. And so every mistake is magnified, and it's dangerous to play that way.
McCabe scoops up the loose ball and will step into a transition three. He's feeling it now. Jordan McCabe, splash time.
And he might be the shortest player at 6 feet tall in the Runnin' Rebels rotation, but he plays a lot bigger. He's got a big ticker, and obviously really confident. He pulled up for 3 right there instead of running offense.
Blackshear can convert, and it's out of bounds to UNLV. McCabe already with 8 points in this game, 3 of 4 from the floor.
That was basically a turnover acting like an outlet pass, and that time Keenan Blackshear basically dropped off, dared him to take it. And this UNLV team is going to be really aggressive early and late in the shot clock.
Now some zone from Nevada. Let's see how UNLV handles. Nuga back to McCabe. This one a deep one. And he cools down just a tad.
You might as well try something, right? There's several different reasons why you would play zone. One would just be to change up the tempo. Another would be to keep your big in front of the rim, protect against foul trouble, or dare a team to beat you from over the top. I think this one was just to change it up, do something else to make them stand around.
Vucinovic, and he is bumped on his drive. So UNLV now, with their 7th team foul, is going to send Vucinovic to the free throw line for a 1-and-1.
And the worst thing you could do for an offensive team that is struggling is foul them and allow them to just go to the line. My dad always told me that the free throw shot is the only shot in basketball that is guaranteed to be unguarded. It's guaranteed to be the same length, whatever gym you play at, right? You can't even say that about layups and dunks.
Vucinovic on the season, shooting 75%, just 6 of 8 though, so limited attempts. Sophomore from Bosnia, who was high school teammates with DeAndre Henry, both of them going to Phoenix Prep in Phoenix, Arizona. And Nevada now getting it done, though, at the free throw line, 5 of 6. Make them 6 of 7, so 6 of 10 points coming from the stripe. And UNLV still just doing an excellent job, not to mention going 4 of 11 from three-point territory to open up this double-digit advantage.
Again, back into a 2-3 zone. They will extend it to guard the shooters. And Bryce Hamilton, or excuse me, that's Ham in the middle there.
Krueger comes up short, but it was off the noggin of Trey Coleman out of bounds, so UNLV will retain with 14 to shoot. The Rebels coming off that big win over Colorado State, looking to make it a couple in a row after they had lost at San Diego State fairly badly, 80-55. That was a nice bounce-back victory, and now Kevin Krueger believes that it solidified anything for them in their belief in themselves and in the coaching staff. Hamilton's going to have to hoist. And a nice stop there from Nevada.
Let's see if they can turn it into points. They're going to slow it down here. I mean, it's difficult. You got to feel for Nevada. I mean, everybody but a UNLV fan would feel for him. Like, Grant Sherfield handles the ball about 80% of the time when you watch a Nevada game, and just to have him not in the lineup is tough for Keenan Blackshear.
Speaking of, tough bucket for Blackshear. Just the 3rd field goal of the game for Nevada. Gets this back to single digits, but you're talking about Sherfield and how much does he mean to this offense. Hamilton, wild attempt, thought he was fouled. Sherfield has scored or assisted on 48.1% of Nevada's field goals this year. So nearly half.
That's a ridiculous number, but it makes total sense to me when I watch this team. Des Cambridge is 0 for 4 from the field. He's the second leading scorer. He has to come up big tonight if Nevada wants to get back in this game and have any chance of getting the road win.
If they want to get back in the game, the defense is going to have to lock in. Last couple possessions, they've done that. UNLV keeping their fans happy. Back at home for the first time in a while, up by 9. Well, if you're just joining us, the Wolfpack without their leading scorer, Grant Sherfield, with a foot injury, something that's been lingering for about a week. The good news is nothing bone or structural, so it shouldn't be very long till he returns, but obviously such a big part of their offense, accounting for nearly 50% in terms of scored and assisted field goals this season.
Second in the entire Mountain West in assists. The first is Hunter Maldonado. You see him on the right side of your screen, but this conference is so loaded with individual stars. It's ridiculous, and I love it. We are lucky, you and I, Noah. These are some of the best. Not all of them. We would actually need a second graphic to show you all of them, but Orlando Robinson in the middle of Fresno State is a true 7-footer, probably going to be a second-round NBA draft pick. Graham Ike is just a monster for Wyoming. He fouled out in their overtime victory over Colorado State last night, and of course we've talked about Bryce Hamilton, 42 points, but man, just Grant Sherfield, he also, he leads the conference in assist to turnover ratio too, Noah. That's actually one of my personal favorite stats, because you can accumulate assists depending on what style you play, but assist to turnover ratio kind of shows you what kind of a decision maker you are. And I don't know of many better decision makers in pick and roll situations than Grant Sherfield.
See what Cambridge likes to do here. Nearly turns it over. Baker gets to the deck first, but then does turn it over. It rolls away from Foster.
And speaking of assist to turnover ratio, Nevada has 5 turnovers and only 1 assist tonight.
So that's more turnover to assist ratio.
Well, the ratio could be however you want, but it's 1 to 5. That's not what you want.
UNLV with 4 assists to go with 5 turnovers. And Kevin Krueger's team with the quick start on the defensive end in particular as they enter it in. Walker back outside. Has to track down Josh Baker. 10 to shoot. Williams, a lot of contact. Couldn't float it in. Nevada starting to get some stops now down the stretch in this first half. Can they capitalize on the offensive end with Cambridge? Slipping his way into the paint. A little too strong. Baker couldn't corral it. Now a break the other way. No real numbers. Hamilton will back it away.
Well, this zone defense certainly has done the trick as far as changing up the rhythm and getting UNLV to kind of stand around.
Williams. Oh, that's pretty.
If you're not going to ball screen against the zone, the best thing to do is to dribble penetrate it or skip it and then make a decision after that. And that was a great example.
So UNLV now 5 of 16 from 3. Nevada 0 for 4. That would be a big help if they can somehow catch fire from downtown. And right on cue, Desmond Cambridge, just 33% on the season, but knocks one through. Williams can't respond.
Really important for Desmond Cambridge to see a ball go through the basket, right? He's 1 for 8 so far. And in conference play from 3, it's been an uphill climb for number 4. He came in 11 for 48 in conference play. That's just 23%. He's a much better shooter than that.
Baker, swooping delivery falls. There's that Texas transfer with the beautiful lettuce.
Well, yeah, he's got to wear a headband to keep that thing out of his eyeballs.
And then Josh Baker just lost the ball on the other side. So it's Baker versus Baker, and Will wins this battle.
It helps to be 7 feet, right? Drop that shoulder, the sky hook.
It's a lost art. It really is.
The most unstoppable scorer.
Yes.
Actually, 2 most unstoppable scorers in our lifetime are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, nobody could guard a sky hook. I don't care who you are or zone, man, whatever. You can't guard it. I don't know why more people don't shoot it. Maybe it's not cool. It doesn't look cool.
I really don't know, because I've wondered the same thing for years. And Baker just showing right there that if you can do it right, it is still incredibly effective. How about the ball movement? Speaking of effective, Donovan Williams is feeling it tonight. He's going to get teed up after that for the taunt. But another triple goes down for UNLV.
When you're in a zone, you can't have 2 guys in one area. It's just zone 1-on-1. And at that time, Nevada defensively had 2 guys. Right here, 2 guys go to the ball. It's an easy read and play. And then they were saying something to Donovan, and he said something back, and the referee heard it. And this is a rivalry game. This is what happens. It gets chippy. I'm okay with it.
Was there anything actually that you did to prepare for a rivalry game? Anything to get yourself in that mental zone? Just because you knew it was going to be a little extra contentious.
So I played at Stanford during my 3-year college career, and Cal was our rival, of course. And I remember my freshman year, we were ranked number 2 in the nation, and we came out on the visiting floor at Cal, Haas Pavilion, and their entire student section had posters, like 50 of them, of my face on them, and the word zits on top of the poster, because I did have acne when I was a freshman at Stanford. So they were attacking me personally. That's what it got.
Oh! Look out! Desmond Cambridge. He came to play in the rivalry. Thomas and Mack shocked. Can McCabe respond? Yes, he can. Now we've got a back and forth in Vegas.
Man, Des Cambridge, they dropped him out of the rafters on that one. So after Des gets a 3 to go down, you might be looking at a different player. Right now he gets a dunk. He's feeling it. I bet you this shot's going up.
Couldn't stay hot. Got a decent look, and let's see if Hamilton will take advantage. Hamilton has been fairly quiet by his own standards, and he gets fouled again from 3-point territory. He's just got a knack. Back and forth affair now at Thomas and Mack as UNLV looks for their 2nd consecutive win. Nevada trying to put it into a losing streak, and they've got men flying through the air to do it. But the Rebels have had the answer. Jordan McCabe big-time start to this game in double figures with 11, leading UNLV to a 9-point advantage in this first half. Impressive, and we've got all the action right here.
Only in Southern California. That track looks so small. I can't imagine all the cars fitting on it.
It is the smallest track in NASCAR. It's a perfect final tune-up as we get set for the NASCAR season ahead. And speaking of getting set, Jordan McCabe's been set and ready to go. He has been locked in from the start with 11 points, tied with the team high and game high. Donovan Williams chipping in 11 off the bench. And the leading scorer, that man right there, Bryce Hamilton, now with 7 after that first of 3.
Hamilton is what I call a 4-level scorer. He can shoot it from 3. He's got the mid-range down. He's tall enough and big enough to score at the rim. But the 4th level is the foul line. I don't know of any really pure elite scorers, the NBA and college, even in high school, that don't know the art of getting fouled.
This is on the 3rd attempt. Hamilton, a 76% shooter, but UNLV, after Nevada made a little bit of a push down the stretch in this first half, has extended it back to 11. They've gotten Blackshear involved. Trying to cut inside instead. Nice feed. And free throws incoming once again for Daniel Foster.
He's the sophomore from Melbourne. Takes that hard foul. That's a good smart foul. Don't let him see the rim. Don't let him get an easy one. A shoulder injury delayed Daniel Foster's debut as a freshman last season until January 22nd. And he has not scored a point in 2 games.
That was something that Steve Alford really felt was necessary for Foster. He said, just see the ball go through the basket a little bit, because everything else he does is perfect. The energy, the hustle. He is a smart, high IQ player, but if he can see the ball go through the bucket as he did at the free throw line there, felt like it could do wonders for his confidence. Jalen Weaver, the freshman from Colorado, is going to check in. Just the 6th game he's played all season.
It does not get a lot of minutes at all. Number 0 in navy blue.
Hamilton. And the rebound pulled down by Blackshear. Can they get Cambridge another one? And there's the freshman with a turnover. He shuffled the feet before he got rid of the ball. He was looking for Husinovich.
And he's immediately greeted by Des Cambridge, the senior. They just didn't really know what to do, where to go with the ball. Again, the inexperience showing a little bit. But Des Cambridge immediately came over and said, hey, young fella, I got you. In-state rivalry game, don't worry, just throw the ball to me.
There's another thing we asked Coach Alford was about the leadership on this team as McCabe nearly turns it over and does. It is Cambridge on the steal. Moving his way through the defense, so he's left open. Cambridge will fire. Speaking of hustle, good hustle there. KJ Himes earning another possession and a jump ball. It is going to stay with Nevada. Or will it? Looked like the arrow was with Nevada. It is not. With UNLV instead. So the Rebels take over. 9-point advantage, approaching 2 minutes left in this first half. And they have really let it fly from downtown, 7 of 20 from 3.
Nevada has gone back to man-to-man. Expect a lot of pick and roll with McCabe here.
Great dish at the last second. And the ball just popped right off the wind, but the second chance is going to earn 2 more free throws. This one's going to Michael Krueger on the hustle play as Himes was just a little overzealous, trying to reject that one inside.
Nevada defensively kind of stopped. As the shot goes up, everybody kind of looks around. No one does anything. They were almost anticipating the foul call, and instead, UNLV and Michael Krueger kept playing. That was one of those possessions that'll drive a coach like Steve Alford absolutely nutty.
So, Casey, should we test the broadcaster's jinx?
I don't want to. You
don't want to.
You can.
I will.
Let's go.
Krueger is a 90% free throw shooter.
And you see how he tilts his feet to the left?
That is an odd delivery. Wow. I really did not believe I had that power. But now that I know, I'm going to only use it for good and not for evil.
That's a good point.
With great power comes great responsibility, Casey.
I hear you. But it is an unorthodox tilting hit. Like, I mean, going to shoot this ball to Nevada's bench, it might seem, but nope.
He splits a pair, back to 10. Blackshear has handled the ball for the most part in this first half for the Wolfpack. They are led with 8 points by Cambridge. Blackshear forces. And another rebound for Krueger. Crucial stretch here with 90 seconds remaining in the half. Hamilton. Oh, yeah.
You run a drag screen in semi-transition. A drag screen is just a ball screen in a fast break situation. Puts a ton of pressure on the defense. They had to switch, and that was Will Baker. That's not the matchup that Nevada wants. Will Baker against Bryce Hamilton.
And a turnover. McCabe up ahead, Hamilton. Ball fake. McCabe's already hit a couple from downtown. 1 minute remaining in the first half. Krueger, aggressive to the paint. Put it in on the foul. Michael Krueger, too strong inside.
A nice shot, but I don't agree with this foul here. He goes straight up, and he's moving slightly, but all of that contact is forced upon him by the offensive player. I'm not sure what the officials expect the defense to do there, but it's not Krueger's problem. Dive into the chest, put that pressure on, and then show us your feet at the line again.
Krueger converts. Nevada has been scoreless for 2 minutes. It's a 12-2 run over the last 3 minutes. Blackshear turns it over again. McCabe in a hurry. The cross, the feed. Hamilton. And the back tap. A second chance now for the freshman Gilbert. Just 8 seconds separate shot clock and game clock, about 8.5, and a timeout's going to be called as Kevin Krueger will talk it over, draw something up to try to end this first half on a bang. They're in control back at home, and UNLV playing at home for just the second time in 18 days, treating their fans to a spectacular performance so far. First-year head coach Kevin Krueger has to be pleased with what he's seen.
Really pleased. Defensively, they came out ready to play in this one. And Coach Krueger loves the versatility of his roster. And when they're fully healthy, which they're starting to become healthy, they look like a different team.
Krueger, he's high. Michael Krueger making it rain at the end of this first half. 5 seconds left now for Blackshear. Gonna have to hoist from well beyond the arc. Oh! Keenan Blackshear, big time bucket to end the first half.
The most difficult three-point shot they took all half goes in to finish 2 for 8 from deep for Nevada. Keenan Blackshear with a Euro step 30-footer. Wow, can they turn this game around and get back in it? UNLV dominated almost every aspect of the first 20 minutes of this one.
Keenan Blackshear ends this first half on a high note for Nevada, but it was pretty much all UNLV through 20 minutes, 42-26. The Rebels in front of the Wolfpack. Got plenty of action still to come. Can UNLV finish it off and get their second straight win? Halftime coming up next. UNLV leading Nevada 42-26 at the half in Las Vegas. This in-state rivalry renewing itself for the 94th time. And some highlights from that first half. Not really hard to pick from UNLV. Bryce Hamilton coming off 42. He's in double figures after the first half.
He hasn't been nearly as efficient tonight as he was against Colorado State, but his bag is deep of tricks, right? There's nowhere on the floor that he can't score. But I thought Jordan McCabe was the tone setter at the point guard position. I thought when he got the news that Grant Sherfield wasn't going to play and he wasn't going to have to chase him around through pick and rolls, he had a little extra effort, and he's put that energy to good use. 11 points and 3 of 6 from deep.
McCabe and Hamilton with 11 apiece. Donovan Williams chipped in 11 off the bench, and UNLV's offense getting it done in the first half. Second half coming up next on FS1. 16-point lead for UNLV as we get set for the second half. The Rebels hold the Wolfpack to just 26% shooting in that first half. Lowest in the first half this season for Nevada. They go 7 of 27 overall, just 2 of 8 from 3.
There wasn't a whole lot that went right, with the exception of that last three-point heave by Keenan Blackshear in the first half. It was kind of a comedy of errors for Nevada on the offensive end.
3 players leading the way with 11 points apiece. Bryce Hamilton trying to follow up that career-high 42. That was player of the week. McCabe with 11 on 4 of 7 shooting. Donovan Williams off the bench, and his return action goes 4 of 7 with 11 points as well. And it's been all Rebels pretty much from the very start of this game. Casey, I know you mentioned it. You feel like McCabe has set the tone at the point guard spot, but all 3 of these guys are getting whatever they want seemingly at every trip on the offensive end.
Starting backcourt, just completely dominating your opponent. They're winning all the individual matchups, each one of them. Jordan McCabe is winning his individual matchup. Bryce Hamilton is winning his matchup against Des Cambridge. And Donovan Williams didn't even play that much. He won his matchup against either Trey Coleman or Keenan Blackshear. Nevada, they need to reach down deep here. This is a gut check moment and half for this team.
Open look to start the half. Comes up just a little bit short from the outside. Will Baker is a 45% three-point shooter at 7 foot. And we'll see what the energy looks like from Nevada. That's been the question from Steve Alford, wondering just how his team can keep it up for a full 40 minutes. As believed the first 20 has generally been better, and that first 20 at UNLV tonight has not been ideal. McCabe in for Iwako. Turnaround, blocked on the outside. Nice defense there from Trey Coleman.
And that's the start that you're looking for defensively if you're Nevada.
Blackshear on the drive and kick. Coleman swings it right back to him. Bounce it now to Baker. Backing down on his former teammate Ham. The jump hook right down the middle.
Just like a practice in 2020 in Austin. And Nevada just needs to dig in on this end of the floor. No, and honestly, even if Grant Sherfield was here, sure, absolutely would help them on the offensive end. But if I'm being honest, Grant Sherfield isn't a defensive guru, right? They should be okay on this end of the floor. They have plenty of length.
Nuga's been aggressive. Ham with the finish. Yeah, Sherfield is missing his first game of the season with a foot injury. Warren Washington missing his second straight game with some dislocated fingers. As Blackshear finds a wide open Baker. Those would just be big, open looks from the outside.
Three-point shot's the most dangerous weapon in basketball. It can erase a deficit in a hurry. And you mentioned how good of a three-point shooter Will Baker is. One of the best at the center position in this conference.
Hamilton. Swinging around, Nuga will fire. Nuga has not been shy tonight. Averages 6.6 points per game, shooting just 36%. But he has shown the aggression as Blackshear does exactly the same, putting his head down and drawing the foul.
Some players drive the ball to the basket just because there's a gap, and others drive it and they seek out contact. And he drives with a purpose, trying to bounce off a couple of guys.
3-ball, nice generous bounce this time for Blackshear. So after he hit that running 30-footer at the end of the first half, he knocks down the third 3 of the game for Nevada to make it a 13-point game.
He can't score the ball, Blackshear. He had 16 points against Fresno State, and what I would argue is Nevada's biggest win of the season.
McCabe gets rid of it. Iwako, the long 2-ball. And there he is again. Nuga has just got a knack for the ball, though he turns it over here. Cambridge dancing. We'll reload it. Blackshear hands it to Coleman. In for Baker. Beautiful offense for Nevada.
Will Baker had him buried deep in that restricted area. He puts that left paw up in the air, and the ball came. As soon as he put that hand up, the ball was delivered. That's how you do it. Because if you don't, you're going to get 3 seconds in the lane.
McCabe. Can they find Hamilton on this possession? Here he is. Hamilton with 8 to shoot. The cross. Trying to get it inside and turns it over. Krueger was trying to run baseline, and Nevada's starting to lock in defensively, and now the offense humming just a tad.
A little bit. The ball movement. Actually, that was just a straight inbound pass. Defensive miscommunication there. And there's that big left paw up there, almost as big as a first baseman's glove. Will Baker's got some massive hands. These are hard targets to miss. Yeah, go right back to him.
Baker working on hand once again. Tough one. Tough delivery. Does not matter. Will Baker going in a takeover mode.
And I think Will Baker's touches and his offensive production are a good barometer for Nevada's ball movement, right? They need to establish that inside-out game, and that's what Steve Alford is begging his guys to play from the inside out. That's the most efficient offensive teams do.
Really a double-triple there from McCabe, and here's the energy that Alford's been looking for from his team. 4 to shoot. McCabe bounces it off the leg of Blackshear. You can feel a little bit of a momentum shift. And Steve Alford has to be pleased with how his team has come out of the half.
Feed the beast down low. Will Baker. Couple of knocks on the door. The lefty with the nice jump hook.
Steve Alford, the 2-time first Mavericks, also played with the Golden State Warriors, has coached on the Division III level, Southwest Missouri State, Iowa, New Mexico, UCLA, now signed that 10-year deal here at Nevada, and told us a great story earlier today about how he had to break himself out of what he perceived his own shooting slump. Missed 2 free throws in a row in a game in high school with 5 seconds left, ended up losing that game. Tell you, he told us he shot 94.5% from the line his senior year, by the way. Yeah, pretty good. Said he wouldn't speak to anybody on the bus back, got back home to the gym, was shooting in the gym until 2 a.m. His dad, who was the coach, tried to kick him out of the gym. He said, "You go home, I'll drive myself." So then he gets the rest of his senior year. He said he doesn't know if he even missed 4 total free throws as McCabe's trying to work. By the way, UNLV scoreless in the last 3 minutes. Alford said that he hadn't missed 2 free throws in a row until his senior year of college. Oh, doesn't matter if it's free throws, fade away, or from half court right now. Michael Krueger is locked in for UNLV.
So that possession was going nowhere, and Krueger bailed him out. But talking about Steve Alford, just what an awesome competitor he was in his college career as Will Baker continues his offensive production. Nice offensive rebound. He's going to get 2 free throws. Alford played 4 seasons in Indiana. He won a national title his senior year, right? Did you know that that was a beautiful shot by Krueger. Wow, off balance too. Did you know that the 3-point line came into effect in college basketball during Steve Alford's senior season? And he shot 53% from 3. And in the national title game against Syracuse, he was 7 for 10 from 3.
Why are you doing? I know, I said you had to bring it up. So all this to say,
You're
he didn't miss 2 free
guy,
throws in a row until his senior year of college, which was against UNLV in the Final Four. And Bob Knight went right up to him and said, "Are you kidding me? You got to be kidding."
Get over
right?
yourself.
Turnover. Nevada is really putting the pedal to the metal. Speaking of, Blackshear gets to the rim and banks it in. A swipe and score for the junior.
And they're finally getting some stops. And the floor is starting to tilt down towards Nevada's basket just a touch. They only had 1 point off of a turnover in the first half. And now they already have a couple of baskets in transition.
Donovan Williams back on the floor after 11 first half points. Krueger going in a takeover mode himself on the offensive end. Can't finish. Loose ball tracked down by Cambridge. It's been Blackshear who has helped along with Baker. Cambridge drives and another floater goes down. Bank shot to make it a 6-point deficit. And a blink of an eye nonetheless.
And well, Cambridge is not going to stop shooting. Right? He's just going to keep firing. He knows that with Grant Sherfield out, that he's got to put some of that burden on his shoulders. And it didn't work out in the first half, but he's not a guy that's going to lose confidence in his ability to score the ball.
Keenan Blackshear frustrated with himself there, committing the foul. That'll send Williams to the free throw line. Blackshear, plenty of basketball pedigree in his family. His father, Kerry Sr., the all-time leading scorer at Stetson. The Atlantic Sun Player of the Year as a junior. His brother, Kerry Jr., played at Virginia Tech and then Florida. Great college career the last couple of years and was excellent for a number of years at VT before finishing up as a Gator.
Yeah, I love Keenan's aggressiveness on defense. Occasionally it gets him into trouble. He's committed 4 fouls in 5 of the last 6 games. He has not fouled out though, so he gets up to the edge of fouling out and then he finally backs off.
It's like when you're about to run out of gas in your car and you're like, I think I can make it. I think I'm gonna get there. It's just that one time you don't, you have to push it the rest of the way.
Well, he clearly knows his limits though.
He does.
It's impressive.
Here he is at the control, 7-point game after UNLV led by 16 at half. Baker with another touch. He's been special to start this second half. 9 to shoot. Open look for Cambridge.
And that was a wide open step in shot for Des Cambridge. He's just, you know, over the last 6-7 games, he's just been off. This one was way to the left from the get-go. And I mentioned coming into tonight, he was 11 for 48 from 3 in conference play. Tonight, he's 1 for 7.
McCabe. Williams on the floor, as is Muwaka. Williams had it stripped from behind. Nevada with some numbers if they hurry. Blackshear settles, fires. Rebound, Baker, a second chance. Using those big hands, can't push it in. UNLV catches a break. McCabe, and a foul's going to be called. It'll be a trip as Foster tried to cut him off and take the charge.
So Scatter, that's absolutely a block foul on Daniel Foster. He kind of lunged towards Jordan McCabe right there. Absolutely.
Foster at 6'6", McCabe at 6 foot, and Bryce Hamilton, can he get going at some point in the second half? He has yet to score since halftime after he had 11 in the first 20 minutes.
He's only taken 1 shot attempt so far in the first 7 minutes of this one. This one's probably going up.
Had the shake and bake and the kick, the baseline drive, and the freshman Gilbert couldn't convert, sending it back the other way.
You can just tell a lot more pop, though. Defensively, the rotations are more crisp. The help is earlier. Everything's being contested in the first half. So one of the thoughts that I had was, man, UNLV, they're comfortable. They're at home. They're getting any shot they want, and you can't play on the road like that if you're Nevada.
Cambridge, who had a big finish in the first half, was looking for another one, but instead gets tied up, and the jump ball. Just a couple minutes in the second half. To your point, Casey, it really feels like a different ball game from what we saw earlier. That's great defense.
Oh, that was perfect defense by David Muwaka.
Muwaka, who in his junior campaign transferred from Lamar. The coaching staff at UNLV, they keep saying, get mean, man. Get mean out there. And they thought he did an excellent job of doing exactly that in the win against Colorado State.
Yeah, getting mean doesn't mean start pushing around everybody and getting fouls and stuff. It just means being extra tough.
What a block. Desmond Cambridge is just showing off the bounce and having fun.
Do you know he has 21 blocks this year, by the way, at the guard position? That's ridiculous.
Foster with the fastball inside.
Nice.
And, oh, wow. Himes thought he was going to have a layup, but the defense converges, and UNLV with another big stop. Behind the back, Gilbert. Up and under a series of moves. He's rejected. Foster. Get it up ahead.
By my count, no, that's 4 blocks on consecutive possessions for each team. The defense is taking a giant step forward. This is pretty fun.
Who doesn't like a good block party, and who doesn't like nothing but nylon from Cambridge? 5-point game. This is a two-possession game, not even midway through the second half. 20-6 to start the second half for Nevada.
And Bryce Hamilton won that individual matchup between him and Cambridge in the first half, but Cambridge has come out to play in the second.
Good ball movement. Gilbert back to McCabe. The jab step and the jumper. Bottom. Big shot for Jordan McCabe. His fourth three of the night. Vucinovic. Reload. Cambridge. Coleman. Did he walk with it? No.
Two hands. This isn't football, man.
It's a rivalry game. It might as well be football. And Jordan McCabe is recognizing the moment and stepping forward. The senior transfer from West Virginia puts his team up 8. UNLV with a number of fantastic players all time, including Sean Marion, the Matrix, 98-99. You know, I think that my partner Casey Jacobson is very familiar with the Matrix.
There I am in the corner.
I feel like this is a microcosm for how you guys shared the court. Marion had all the highlights, and then Casey, you kind of stole the shots.
I photobombed that one right there. Is he dunking on me? I'm not sure. Yeah, Sean.
I will say, one of the most impressive things, your hair remains unchanged. Still fantastic stuff. What was it like playing with the Matrix? Because we were talking about Europeans and how they were a little bit ahead of the time. I feel like Sean Marion was ahead of his time on the court.
One of the freakiest athletes that I played with. He had a really high basketball IQ, though, and that's why he stuck around for so long and became one of the best defensive players in the league. I played with Sean. There's Trey Coleman. Gets a nice little post hook to go. I played with Sean Marion from 2002 to 2005 as a member of the Suns. We had Amari Stoudemire, another freak athlete, Steve Nash, Joe Johnson, Mike D'Antoni was our coach. Those were good times.
Another ahead of time, 7 seconds or less to get those shots up. You know, this man's going to get his shots up, and this time he draws the foul. Going to be on the floor, though, as Hamilton made his move spinning to his left. Blackshear was trying to stay in front and looks quite puzzled as to why the whistle came.
It was the help play, and that's absolutely a foul on Keenan Blackshear. I'm not sure why he's complaining about that. And he didn't need to help. Trey Coleman had that cut off. Sometimes you just get a little overzealous. And Keenan Blackshear can't help himself. He sees a basketball, and he's just got to swipe at it.
Hamilton. At some point, we expect him to make some noise. With his team up 6 and 10 to shoot. Hamilton with a shake and bake. Williams lost the ball, got it back. 4 to shoot. Williams blocked on the outside. Cambridge, what a play, another rejection.
I talked early on about Des Cambridge's offense, but I hope I mentioned that he's an excellent defender, right? He's second in the Mountain West in steals per game, and now he's got 22 blocks. And he comes from Brown in the Ivy League. His sophomore year, he had 52 blocks.
Baker up and under. Comes up short. Baker's had a very productive start to this second half. As has this man, Nuga, who is in double figures himself for UNLV. The drive and dish. Williams a triple.
I was a little worried for Michael Nuga. He jumped in the air and really didn't seem like he had a plan. But his strength and his pinpoint accuracy on that pass leads him to Donovan Williams. Man, that guy shoots so easily.
Foul on the outside. Iwako is going to pick it up. How about this dish?
He's in midair like, uh-oh, I don't know who I'm going to throw it to. Find Donovan Williams. Yeah, if I had a shot as pretty as that, I'd leave that gooseneck up too.
Glad you said that. Because it was like the white men can't jump. It's pretty. It's so pretty. And a turnover. Keenan Blackshear shuffled the feet. Nevada just inching closer and closer, but UNLV keeping that stiff arm late in the second half.
And it seems so many unforced errors for Nevada. A lot more in the first half, surely, than in the second. But, you know, credit UNLV for being there, but it feels like they're just, Nevada's making one too many extra dribbles instead of moving the basketball.
McCabe to Hamilton. Step back, 3-ball. Baker with a board. Approaching 8 minutes to play. Nevada trying to erase a 16-point halftime deficit and win on the road to avoid a 3-game losing streak. Baker will trigger. Baseball pass, length of the floor.
You gotta go right up with him.
And this time he does. Patience is a virtue.
But it was just him and Will Baker on the block, and it seemed like he was waiting for the cavalry. For what reason, I'm not sure. Royce Ham Jr., I love watching Royce Ham play. He's a guy that doesn't seem to really care about scoring at all. He wants to do all the other little things. He would have been a great big guy as a teammate.
Now the crowd getting involved. Deep 2. Cambridge comes up short. Krueger, the rebound, saves it. And Hamilton will slow it down for the Rebels. Hamilton, the spin cycle. Now you see me, now you don't. Bryce Hamilton, spectacular. Timeout, Nevada.
Well, you don't average 21 points a game without a lot of counter moves. You want to try and stop me on the baseline, put you in the spin cycle, back to his strong hand. Bryce Hamilton, scoring machine.
Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. We've all been and we've all had miscues, but Nevada, a couple too many to this point tonight.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes are a part of basketball, but the unforced errors on the road, like the ones you're watching now, are often too difficult to overcome. I mean, like UNLV is playing good defense, but some of these are just the ball slippery, right? You're missing dunks. You combine that with 3 of 15 shooting the ball from 3, you're going to find yourself in a deep hole.
Steve Alford told us his way of breaking a shooting slump was going to the gym, doing form shooting for about 20 minutes, going to the free throw line, hitting a ton of free throws, but not really movement, just getting that feel back, seeing the ball go through the basket. Did you have anything that you like to do when you were in a shooting slump, especially in your college years?
That was it. When he was talking about form shooting, and for the audience at home that doesn't know what that is, that's when you grab a ball and you go right underneath the basket, basically 1 foot or 2 feet away from the basket, and all you do is work on your shooting form, and you're shooting like baby jumpers over and over and over as Cambridge misses another shot. Now Nevada 3 for 16 from behind the arc. But that's all you get back to the repetitions, right? Because your mind and your body work together as a jump shooter, and if one is off, then you're going to start missing. You're going to find yourself in a slump. So I was nodding my head when Steve Alford was talking about shooting.
I will tell you that. Rejections have been plentiful, and Foster with another emphatic one inside to keep this in a 13-point game. It is an extended 7-0 run for UNLV to extend it back to 13 as the Rebels look to put the finishing touches on a home victory. Saturday, it's a huge Pac-12 showdown as 19th-ranked USC takes on number 7 Arizona at 5 p.m. Eastern, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Casey, I know you've been looking forward to this one, a top 20 battle in the Pac-12 between 2 teams with 2 studs.
Oh, I'm going to be on the call for it. I can't wait. It's going to be at the McHale Center in Tucson, and these 2 gentlemen are going to be not necessarily going head-to-head, but beating their squads. Isaiah Mobley on the left, he is the older brother of Evan Mobley, the rookie for the Cleveland Cavaliers, a really versatile power forward who can run the point guard sometimes. And then Ben Mathurin is awesome. He's from Canada. He is a shooting guard. And when you think of prototypical NBA shooting guard, he has that type of body. He's got that type of bounce. He can shoot it from 3, and he's developed into a leader, just a sophomore at Arizona.
So UNLV with 5 to shoot for McCabe. He is working on Foster again, has to hoist. And this time can't convert. So Nevada still with a little bit of time here. 6.5 remaining, 13-point game. We've seen them battle all second half. Steve Alford, who called it embarrassing, their loss on Saturday to Utah State, 78-49, and that's going to help. Little hoop and harm inside as Kaden Blackshear has really played well in the absence of Grant Sherfield.
He had to fill in. He had no choice, and he is a much more physical guard than Grant Sherfield. And right there, Jordan McCabe, if you're going to foul him like that, Noah, he's got to really just wrap him up. If you're going to foul him, but don't just stick your arm out there hoping that you're going to poke the ball away.
Blackshear leading Nevada with 15 points. Tied for the game high with Donovan Williams, who in his return from the knee issue has poured in 15 on 5 of 9 shooting off the bench. 10-point game, just under 6 to play. Here is Williams. Whips it to Hamilton. Guarded closely by Coleman. 7 to shoot. Hamilton, a tough one. And that man once again with a second chance opportunity. Ham draws the contact on the floor. He has been active on the boards from the opening tip.
But this is what he does. Roy Sam Jr. knows where his strengths lie. He, Justin Bean for Utah State, Graham Ike, those are the 3 best and most difficult forwards in this conference to block out. They're undeterred by contact.
In for Williams. Williams, attack mode. Rips through. Creative. Donovan Williams, 17.
I like your word, Noah, creative. You know, some guys can only score 1 or 2 ways. Both Williams and Hamilton, they can score with either hand, jumping off either leg. So right when you think you have them trapped, they figure out a way to wiggle out.
Baker, and a foul's going to be called. Williams tried to reach into the cookie jar and was caught in the act.
Williams, he hurt his knee. It's the one on the knee sleeve, his right knee. And that's a good call. He hurt his knee against San Diego State. He only played 14 minutes in that game, scored 2 points, and UNLV got blasted. And he has spent the last week or so getting right. And we need him.
It's a big hit for Cambridge, who's just a 69% shooter. Going to need him to be big time down the stretch. He's 4 of 18 from the floor, 1 of 8 from 3. He's had 7 rebounds in this game to lead the team. But they'll need a scoring without Sherfield if they want to complete the 16-point halftime comeback.
Yeah, you mentioned it's not a great shooting night for Cambridge, but he's done everything else, right? He's not a guy that can only score. He can block shots, he can get you steals, he can rebound. But man, they would like to get him hot from the outside. He's a guy that can change a game in a heartbeat with his 3-point shot.
Krueger nearly throws it away. Hamilton's got it. 10 to shoot. The cross, the Euro, the finish. Bryce Hamilton showing off the entire arsenal.
I don't know how you guard him. I really don't. I mean, you're asking Will Baker, the 7-footer, to try and corral him. It's like trying to chase a marble downhill.
Blackshear gets fouled in the act, and he will shoot 2. Hamilton now up to 15 points after an incredibly slower start to this game. And he has been helped by Williams off the bench and 14 from his point guard, McCabe. UNLV just doing enough down the stretch so far.
Doing enough to keep Nevada at arm's length, but what they don't want to do, if you're a running Rebel fan, you don't want to see your team put Nevada on the foul line, right? They can score points while the clock is stopped. They can set up some full court pressure and make it a lot more difficult on you and extend the possessions of this game.
I said I was going to use my powers for good, but I have to say Nevada is 16 of 17 from the free throw line tonight.
There we go.
I think that Keenan Blackshear,
he's impervious.
Not
he's impervious.
He's not affected. KJ Himes checks back in for Nevada.
And he is the better defensive option down low, right? So Will Baker is a much better scorer than KJ Himes, but they need defense right now. They need stops.
They're going to trap on Hamilton. He had a dangerous pass into the corner. It's going to stay with UNLV as it was knocked out of bounds by Foster.
It was a terrible pass, a dangerous pass. He floated that one up. A free ball there in a scrum. Now, UNLV is lucky to retain possession of this one.
15 to shoot. Williams will trigger. Bounce it to Ham. He'll back down on Himes. Ham turns, fires, connects. Counted and a foul. Royce Ham clutch down the stretch.
And Himes held his ground here and didn't really move. And I'm not sure if that's why the officials gave him the foul calls, because he wouldn't give up any ground. I mean, I don't know if that was a foul, honestly.
Converts anyway, 3 points the hard way. McCabe sits as the freshman Keyshawn Gilbert comes back in with UNLV up by 13. Blackshear in some trouble. Coleman spins, gets all the way to the rim, and finishes.
And Nevada needs to start picking up either three-quarter court or past half court. Because right now, UNLV really doesn't even have to score. They just need to take time off the clock.
And a foul on the outside. Nevada did have one to give, but Bryce Hamilton doing everything he can to put that last gasp touch on this win for his UNLV squad as the Rebels lead by 11, under 4 to play. UNLV playing at Thomas and Mack Center for just the second time in 18 days, and it has been nice to be home. And in fact, they say there's no place quite like home, but for Bryce Hamilton, that has been the case, especially down the stretch in the second half.
Well, I mean, last game he had 42 against Colorado State, so anything he did tonight was going to be a step down, but how about beautiful was that move? And when Bryce Hamilton gets to play downhill, right, when he has a running start at you, I don't know if there's anybody in the country that's going to be able to stop him. 6'4", he's got a high release on his jumper, and he's a little bit herky-jerky with his movements in isolation.
Stop and go, the patience in the lane, saw those Euro steps, the change of pace as well. And Hamilton with 15 points has gotten help off the bench. Donovan Williams scoring 17 to this point. And Jordan McCabe with 14. Krueger's got 10, so 4 in double figures for the Rebels. Meanwhile, 17 from Keenan Blackshear to lead Nevada. 14 from Cambridge and 12 from Baker. Remember, Grant Sherfield, the leading scorer for the Wolfpack, out today, as is Warren Washington. Double on Hamilton. That to Williams. 8 to shoot. Williams, long stride to the rim, missed it strong, and the rebound knocked out of bounds will stay with UNLV with 4 on the shot clock.
There's 7 different states are represented on this UNLV roster, which I also found pretty interesting. 3 different countries besides the United States. This is an eclectic group of running Rebs. I think they had 8 transfers. It's a totally new team with this exception right here.
Hamilton can't convert there. Well, 10 of 13 scholarship players had yet to play in a UNLV uniform before this season started. And now it feels like starting to find a little bit of a rhythm as a group, finding that chemistry here in game number 22. That's a nice finish from Trey Coleman as he was spinning back and forth and just threw it up, banks it in.
The problem for both of these teams, UNLV and Nevada, is when they've struggled. That was probably a travel, by the way. The Mountain West is unforgiving this year. Now, this is the best Mountain West conference that I've seen since 2015 when they got 3 teams into the NCAA tournament.
It's going to be 1-on-1 situation now. Second personal is going to go against Cambridge, and Nuga's going to have a chance to get it back to a double-digit lead, or no, make it McCabe who will shoot the free throws. As just a 65% shooter, although McCabe today 4 of 8 from 3. And now it is going to be Nuga. So McCabe, he walked confidently to the free throw line there. I think that's probably the key. If you've ever seen the movie Fletch, if you do something with confidence, generally
that's
people
Chevy
believe
Chase,
you.
right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, I've seen that.
It's a classic.
It's been years, but yeah, why wouldn't Jordan McCabe have confidence though, huh?
That's a good point. Nuga came in 90%, has missed 2 today, and it's still a 9-point game. Blackshear, get it inside. Baker rejected at the rim. What a swap by Ham.
You know who he reminded me on that one? The Matrix, Shawn Marion. So often would Shawn Marion be out of position, out of the play, and just come flying in. Royce Ham Jr., that was awesome.
I would say Ham may have just brought home the bacon. McCabe will track down his own miss and then rolls out of bounds. And look out, Hamilton just got rolled up on. Another look at this rejection.
It's a really nice pass. And it was a quick jump attempt dunk for Will Baker. Man, and that was a violent block. And the Mutombo finger, huh?
On his house. Hamilton is helped up.
That's a good sign.
Without a doubt. No noticeable limp or anything. It will be Nevada basketball, though. 2:08 left. Nevada down by as many as 16 in this game. Blackshear, leave it for Baker on the attack. Statue of Liberty type finish comes up well short.
And I wonder if he was thinking about the last possession that got pinned on the backboard, and instead of going strong, he kind of fades away.
Nice save there by McCabe. Drain some clock with 15 to shoot. Get it to your go-to guy, Hamilton, with 15 on the night. Coming off the career-high 42. Let's see what the Mountain West Conference Player of the Week does here. Hamilton, the cross, the spin, the fade. He got it!
He just has a scorer's mentality, right? It's different than a shooter's mentality. Shooters lose their confidence when their jumper's not going in. No, scorers do not care. They get buckets anyway, anyhow, even when they're struggling. They figure out a way to put points on the board.
Steve Alford will call the timeout after the bucket there from Coleman. It's still a 9-point game, but with Bryce Hamilton playing the way he has in this second half, it's going to be tough to complete the comeback.
He didn't have a rhythm in the first half, and he just figured out a way to mentally stick with it. He trusts his skill set. Man, this young man has put in so much time and work. He's increased his points per game every single year in Las Vegas. He's now in his 4th year in college basketball as a senior. He's from Southern California, near where I grew up, from Pasadena area. And he's so much fun. I love college hoops. I love the Mountain West Conference too. Like, these are two of the teams that are struggling, and they have so much talent. I mean, we didn't even get to see Grant Sherfield perform tonight.
Well, imagine when Nevada gets Sherfield and Washington back, both of them big-time contributors to this team. Warren Washington, a junior center, 7 foot 215, athletic, can defend at the rim, can catch lobs. He's averaging double figures, 10.1 points, 6.2 rebounds per game in 16 starts this year. You get him and Sherfield back in the mix, and this is a completely different Nevada team, a team that really battled very well in the second half.
Yeah, you don't want to make excuses for any team, right? A lot of people are going through injuries and COVID protocols and pauses and stuff like that, but you do naturally wonder what this game would have been like with Grant Sherfield in the lineup and Warren Washington. You want to see both these teams at full strength battling for Nevada supremacy. But look, UNLV came out of the gates ready to play. Nevada did not. A lot of unforced errors, a lot of missed bunnies at the rim, missed dunks, and they dug themselves a hole that was just too great to get out of unless they can perform a miracle here.
McCabe advances it with a pass. Krueger gets it back to his point guard. Under a minute to play at Thomas and Mack. And a foul's going to be given on the outside to send McCabe to the free throw line. Still 1-1. As Nevada embarking on a 7-day, 3-game road trip. They have started it without about 28.5 points of production, and this is what they can look forward to as McCabe misses the free throw.
You got to go quick here. Prefer some threes.
Baker can shoot it. Coleman. Leave it to the cutting Cambridge. Can't finish. Rebound up for grabs. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Krueger. So second chance for the Wolfpack. Just about 11 seconds of separation as they reset that clock now to 20.
They need to play solid, but they also need to make sure that they block off and finish their defensive possession with a rebound instead of just watching it.
Open look for Cambridge. And he comes up short, and that's been the story for Nevada now. 3 of 17 from 3, and Cambridge is 1 of 9 himself. As McCabe is going to shoot 2. And time ticking away for the Wolfpack comeback. UNLV, after the biggest win maybe of the season on Friday at Colorado State, 88-74. After this, they go back on the road briefly. Utah State, Air Force, Boise State, Fresno, Colorado State. You mentioned it, Casey, there's no real off nights in this conference this year. Everybody is pretty evenly matched and beats up on one another as McCabe makes up for his previous error.
Utah State is one of those teams, Noah. They started 1-5, and now they've won their last 3 in a row, including beating San Diego State easily. They beat this Nevada team last week on Saturday, and they finished off Air Force just a couple of nights ago. Nobody wants to see the Utah State Aggies right now.
Cambridge gets it inside. 20 seconds remaining from Thomas and Mack. The home crowd in this rivalry matchup can smell the victory as Baker turns it over, and that will do it. It was a valiant effort from Nevada in the second half, but Donovan Williams, Bryce Hamilton, Jordan McCabe, and Kevin Krueger's UNLV running Rebels get another big victory at home. 69-58, the final score in this rivalry matchup as they get their first win over Nevada since February of 2018, snapping that 8-game losing streak in this head-to-head.
Congratulations to UNLV and their first-year head coach, Kevin Krueger. This is his first in-state rivalry game. He handled it with class and had his team ready to go.
So UNLV with 4 players in double figures, 12 of 32 from 3. Get the victory, 69-58 over Nevada. For Casey Jacobson and our entire Fox Sports crew, I'm Noah Eagle saying so long from Thomas and Mack in Vegas.